So, what a crazy show we just had with Kevin Castley from Superpower Broadcasting. Um, a bunch of ad hominems, a bunch of interruptions, a bunch of mansplaining for a pedo apologist, lots of garbage, lots of trash. So, this is the post show, everyone. I'm just gonna literally just go over for, the next half hour to an hour, the disgusting, behavior from Superpower Broadcasting and the pedo apologetics that he went to bat for. So, capitalist neocon, you're not gonna be here long, but you wanted to give some thoughts, and I want you to hear them, say them. So, go ahead.
Yeah, so I'll give my thoughts for how the debate went. So there's a few points that I have. One is that with the Vosh point, it was pretty clear that it was counter signaling where at first Kevin was trying to say, well, he's not really opposed, well, he's not really in support of it, but then it was like, oh, well, it's kind of a part of his philosophy. It's just libertarian socialism. So like throughout time it just was backpedaling where at first it's like no he's actually opposed to it, but then it's like he's kind of, but you have to see where he's coming from. But then the other part of that is while it was Weasley the other way when referring to people such as Grayson and Asuka, it was the constant repeating, like he just has the script memorized of all like the Holocaust meme, like this meme. When I mean, it's pretty clear. Like even he was saying that, oh, Jay said to work with Kyle, that he was joking, but he just can't tell like when someone like Asuka's joking and when someone's like Grayson joking. And that's just something with the modern world. Like people are gonna joke about things that you may not like, you may get offended by, but ultimately you just can't take things like seriously. And even if someone asks someone like Grayson or Suka what their thoughts are, like I can even say I'm further to the right to them politically. Like they're by no means fascist. I mean, even someone like Grayson, he can clarify. I think even he was in support or someone in favor of the Equality Act that's going through Congress right now. So if you actually get into the nuance of their issues, it's by no means correct. And like I'm anti-fascist and I'm further to the right than them, so I can see it better. And for other points, I mean, yeah, there was a lot of the ad hom where it was basically similar to the Haas debate, where the Haas debate it opened up the possibility that maybe just Kevin now it's like he went from like center right conservative to just unable to have a conversation. But once you give people a second chance and they miss it, like this just confirms it, and it gets to the main point where it's kind of a paradox. And I don't know, in a way it's good for like Kevin's adversaries where the more he talks, instead of people listening to him like they once was, let's say his debate with Liz, now it's like they run 5 miles away. So it's kind of ironic in the sense it's a bit, well, it's different. I would say it's worse for Kevin, where it's kind of like Trump during the presidential debates where he kept interrupting. Chris Wallace had to get him to calm down. And that just ended up actually hurting him. And it was like that on steroids, where the more Kevin talked, it hurts his cause. And it gets to the final point where fundamentally his worldview really is divorced from any kind of psychology. It's all just a game. It's about ego. It's about viewing people as pieces and pawns and trying to get along with people like Vosh when people like Vosh don't even care about him or thinks this guy's like fascist because he wants to start regime change wars. So fundamentally, it's just divorce from psychology where you can't take into consideration. Like if you can't get along with other neocons, who are you getting along with? Like who are you trying to appeal to? Like where are the liberal hawks going to come from? If you go to the grocery store, how many people are liberal hawks? It's under 1%. Most people are trying to live their lives, and here you are like literally getting in arguments, like having your like heart rate go up twice as normal about, oh well, this person made this meme 2 months ago. So fundamentally I would just say like it's kind of self-descripted where just the more people watch Kevin, like the more people get turned off by him. And at this point, like starting a few months ago, like I don't even watch his content because there isn't much to say. It's just it's kind of pointless. It's just either you listen to him, you get repelled by it, or you don't listen to it. And guess what? You live life as normal. You don't have to be this weird anti-theist, liberal hawk, unilateralist, GTFO. 20 characteristics later, you can just be a normal person.
Yeah, well, thanks, Kappas Neocon. I know you got to go, but I really appreciate you giving your thoughts in the short time that you had. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, and guys, guess what? We've got Dragon Ross here, but we're also going to have Grayson on, and he's Grayson. What's up? Trolling Kevin, I see, huh?
Yes, I am the Hungarian fascist. I am the living embodiment of Niklaus Holtney.
Yeah. Do I get a chance to speak at all?
Well, yeah, but remember the dragon. I had to let Neocon. Sorry, I had to let the other guy because he was leaving.
I know.
Yeah. So, go ahead. So yeah. So, guys, what that was just a crazy, terrible stuff. You know. I mean, that was just crazy what we just saw right there from Superpower Broadcasting. I really thought we'd have an actual debate where, you know, we'd like literally, you know, like have a discussion, you know, and go back and forth and get something across. But that's not what happened. All it was essentially was Superpower Broadcasting interrupting me at every single term and then trying to go beyond the debate and try to pull other people into it. Like yourselves and others, and try to essentially rehash, you know, things that have been people have already made either apologize for or have made amends for, and of course, and also too, he had no problem also lying and smearing you guys, which is what essentially what he does to people in the neoconservative movement, because he's no longer a neoconservative, he's essentially a progressive. With just some hawkish takes.
One could say he's borderline Trotskyite.
Yeah, you're right about that. He is basically what people would accuse neocons of doing. He is just a walking stereotype.
Absolutely. I mean, the things too that it was so childish what he did at the end of the stream, and you guys didn't see this, and I wish you had though, because at the end of the stream, he literally flipped me off after the stream was over. You know, when the cameras
what
weren't
a man child.
Bingo. You know, he literally flipped me off and said "F you," and I was just like blown away, like wow. I mean, that's just the craziness.
You beat me. You had the crazier debate with Kevin.
I had it was more like the unfortunate experience because of that garbage that he put me through. You know, I mean, he essentially, you know, but the thing is though, I can go to bed and sleep well, okay, knowing my position, okay, because I did not go to bat for a pedo apologist like Vosh, okay? I did not go to bat for a person like Vosh who has sexually harassed women online, all right?
Yeah, but no, he's pro-intervention, man.
He's not. Yeah, sure. Intervention. Yeah, for what?
Yeah,
you know.
I'll say this though. So for Vosh, he literally thinks that the war in northeastern Syria is the only justified war.
Well, Vosh doesn't support what goes on in Syria or Iraq for any good reason. He just supports it because he wants to see communists take over in that region. Because the Kurds,
I would say we basically agree with Vosh for different reasons.
Yeah, we as neoconservatives wanted to help the Kurds in Syria and Iraq to fight ISIL and to fight Assad, not to bring about essentially a Marxist or communist state in those regions, which is essentially what a lot of the Kurds want. Now, there's a lot
Well,
of different
The Kurds are
factions.
kind of neutral. They would actually go to Assad for time. They would actually go to Assad sometimes because their bigger problem is Turkey.
Yeah, it's so to suggest
They're
that
pretty much neutral. I would say they're neutral on that part.
Yeah. Oh, actually, let's bring up something real quick here, and then you can come in. Hungary. Right here, Mexicanator said, "Did you see what Jay said about your wife?" Yeah, I did, and I'll read out the comment. He said, "From the War Kettle, Net Seven is married to a brain dead person," and then the War Kettle also said, Islamophobes." Okay, you know what? This is how pathetic the other side gets. I don't bring people's personal relatives or family members into a discussion or debate because it's inappropriate. Okay, I may hate you, I may dislike you, but I'm not going to bring your family into it. But of course, though,
Like
this
it's
is
basically for him. It's basically this passive aggressive mentality to where instead of like addressing you directly, it's like you just go right to like find. It's just like find a way to like be like petty.
yeah, exactly. Let, I'll show you. I'll show you guys. It's like, have you seen it, guys?
Like, seen what?
What Jay said,
Yeah, I've
because
seen it.
yeah, right here.
Yeah.
Islamophobes, and then says Net Seven is married to a brain dead person. Seriously, you bring a person's spouse into it. That's pretty pathetic and low. And it's obviously just shows how little they cared about what Natalie said.
You're such a goddamn tryhard.
Yeah. And this is the same person, and I've got this comment actually. This is the same person who literally said that they would work with Antifa. I've got it right here. It says right here. Even after being attacked and my camera stolen by Antifa, I will stand with them over the fascists any day of the week. Oh yeah. Oh, like, are you serious?
Antifa for life. He literally said Antifa for life.
Yeah. Like, seriously, you would stand with Stalinists? That's what Antifa are. They're Stalinists. They're Maoists.
I would say they're anarcho-communist.
Well, they're a mixture. Well, the thing is, anarcho-communists, anarchists, Maoists, Stalinists, they're all one of the same feather. They all believe, as they're all essentially, they essentially all, if this was the Soviet Union, be at the NKVD office submitting their resumes.
Yeah, that's the only difference is they had different tactics.
It's just so pathetic. It's so pathetic. It's so pathetic that these people literally think that think that that the Antifa types, who are Stalinists. I'm not gonna go back from that. Who literally think that those people are actually good guys? You got to be kidding me, right? People that literally smash up buildings, destroy personal property, attack police officers, attack people who are conservative or religious, who are different from them. You think I'm gonna ally with a person like that, and call them good? Are you insane? These anarchists are the same people that our community fought against in the Twitter war that we had. Remember the Twitter war we had? There were these anarchists who were literally saying that people like me should die. They were saying, like, the only thing bad about 9/11 was that you weren't there. Or they were also saying other things too, like, I hope your hand or your arm burns off in a frying pan accident. These are the people that comprise Antifa, and you want to work with people like that? People who earlier said that they hope that you get injured and die. This is the kind of people that Superpower Broadcasting thinks that they can talk to, negotiate to, work with. You got to be kidding me.
Yeah, he's only talking to like left-wing types, left-wing anarchists.
Also, when it comes to like foreign policy, what you should have done is, if he brought up Syria, you should have shifted it to Latin America, because my God, does Vosh have some pretty terrible takes over there.
Yeah.
Maduro supporting, Castro supporting, Ortega supporting.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Grayson, I would say even in the Middle East is really bad, because like the only thing the only justifiable war to him is like basically the war in northeastern Syria. That's it.
Yeah, the fact of the matter is though is
Like
that
he's horrible on Iran.
yeah,
in Iraq.
absolutely horrible on Iran. I mean, you want to hawkpill a guy who literally thinks that we should work with the Iranian regime, which is causing all the problems.
And he thinks, and he said Israel should be nuked.
Yeah, I mean, and this is so funny. He said that Vosh is an anti-racist. He's an anti-Semite scumbag when he said that literally Israel should be nuked off the face of the earth. He's literally repeating things said in Tehran or said in the West Bank.
Like, not nuked. That's a bit too far. Getting nuked.
Yeah, I mean, he's essentially going to bat for a Hamas-loving Iranian support apologist.
Kevin, you don't need to be racist to be really a bad person. You don't need to be discriminated against anyone. You can just support equal misery. And there you go.
That's a Soviet strategy right there. It's okay. So the minorities are not equal, but we are equal.
It's so it's so pathetic. Like I'm just gonna say this right here. You know, like when it comes to this, I've got the thing right here, the image at the top of the screen. I'm just gonna tell the viewers what it says. He who is not angry when there is just cause for anger is immoral. All right. When you go and say things like Vosh has, when you're literally an apologist for pedophilia, I'm sorry. You are a bad person. You are immoral. You are evil, and I want nothing to do with you. And I won't share a platform with you. I've already said it before. I won't share a platform with neo-Nazis, and I won't share a platform with people who make apologetics for child exploitation and for CP. But guess what? Guess what though? He's got no problem doing it, though. Superpower Broadcasting. Why? Because he thinks naively that he's going to get some of those viewers to come on his side. No, they hate him. They despise him. They're not going to agree with him. Even Vosh, he said that, oh, well, I support intervention, if like in 10 years' time it can be successful. He doesn't support interventions for democratic institutions or for freedom.
He does, but it's in a not like maybe like in a socialist democracy, but not a pro-Western democracy. There's a bit of a difference, don't you think?
There's a huge difference.
You should see the tweet that Kanzak posted the link to in the chat.
Like if Vosh was supporting, let's say if he actually did support like a war, like what's to say if he did support a nation-building policy in like a country like Iraq. He would only do it if somebody like Nicolas Maduro or Evo Morales got into power.
The thing with his nation building thing is that I don't even think he was being serious. I think he was just trying to cop out of the fact that he was making a bad argument.
Like even if it's true, like Vosh would only support like nation building if he gets somebody like Daniel Ortega in office, then he would support that. Like
yeah, I mean, because like here's the thing, because so when Vosh has gone on record saying that that the Middle East would be a better place if Israel were nuked off the map. You know what the kind of intervention that he would support? He would support intervening on the side of Hamas. He would support intervening on the side of the PLO. He would support intervening on the side of Assad. Yes, Assad, if Assad was going to war against Israel. So
yeah, but he doesn't like Assad though because he's fascist. Yet at the same time, like for him, for Vosh is weird. But like if it was like I don't know about Assad because it's like optics. But he would go to war for Iran.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous. Like what he's talking about, because he says that he can hawkpill a person like Vosh. That's so pathetic. It's so naive. It's like going to an Antifa group, okay, and thinking that you can talk to those people about capitalism and about America as being a good force in the world. Most people are going to run you right out of the meeting. They don't care. Now, on a place like YouTube or on the Hippie Tippy Roundtable,
Or
when you
live
have
stream, yeah.
on a
They're
live,
forced to be polite. Like he's not even near you. Like you're in a, so of course they're going to be nice to you. But if you're in an actual political action community, he'll probably tell you here, he'll probably tell you to get out the door.
yeah. I mean, it's so stupid. I'm gonna
Pretty much
show
tell
this.
him the GTFO.
Also, it's funny just looking at, because when the
Yeah.
debate was happening, me, Kenzuk, Pess, and like a new guy, Pat McCannon, I think.
Buchanan.
No, not Buchanan, McCannon. He's a
Oh,
different guy. He's someone new to the community, but we were just like since we all were muted, you can, if you go to the Discord, you can actually see just what we were doing during the debate, and it was just hilarious because we were just endlessly mocking every single thing he said.
well, I just want to bring up this little tweet real quick. I'm going to share the screen again. It's
So my point here, basically, when it comes to intervention, of course, the reasons are important.
yeah, here it is. Did you guys hear me earlier when I was showing the photos of the stuff?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
good.
I couldn't see; it was too small. But do you have any evidence of what you were saying in that debate?
Yeah, I do. I'll show it in a minute
Oh,
because no, when he flipped me off. Oh no, I wanted to, but then but again, here's the funny thing. Look, so you have right here, Superpower Broadcasting literally smiling, and all the and about this pedo apologist right here, and I like what he said right here. Interpret it out however you will. Here's how I interpret it, guys. Um, I'm not literally going to bat for a person who literally thinks that CP is not a big deal, who think that CP is should not be prosecuted, and thinks that it should be legalized. I'm sorry, but if you think that CP should be legalized, you are an absolute scumbag.
yeah. Even if Vosh wasn't, I mean, like his ideas alone, like his politics, I mean, based on it, like you shouldn't really just pander to him. He's not really somebody you should pander to anyway, because he literally thinks like China's not real socialist.
Also, it's funny when like you brought up the J supporting Kyle Kaczynski. He's like, that was clearly a joke. Yet everything I've said was totally serious. Like that stream when I was calling for the death of atheists, I was literally in a bunny girl outfit, and I dabbed at the end. Very serious content.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not to mention that, like Jay never even said it was a joke. This was during the TYT drama.
yeah. It was not a joke. He literally thought that people on their side should literally reach out to people like Kyle Kalinske and convert them. People like Kyle Kalinske are interested in being converted. They're full-time propagandists for the Kremlin, for the CCP, for the Ayatollahs.
Just because he left TYT for him like that specific job, and not like, or just because like Jimmy Dore like gets pissed off at him. Oh yeah, let's get him.
Yeah, totally. It's just because there was a somewhat of a falling out and disagreement does not mean that that person all of a sudden has seen the light. Oh, I've seen the light. I'm completely opposed to blah 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 blah. It's just total nonsense.
Like you're pretty much there's no point. Like he's trying to get involved in like other people's drama.
Yeah, totally. if they're if they're calling me
God.
petty nitty, well, I just want to say this: I didn't go to bat for a pedo apologist, so I think I stand pretty good on the side of history that I didn't go to bat for a guy who was literally an apologist for CP, aka pedophilia.
Dude, this guy came out as a literal boss simp.
Totally. I
You
mean,
could have just sat back and why you provided all the details and all the evidence. Like, okay, show me what you got. Like, yeah, like
Kevin's
if he,
why did you?
I mean, it's like so pathetic, petty netty. This name is so stupid. I mean,
1980.
Kev's name.
Yeah, he's got right here Dragon, what you call him Piggy Netty. Like, this is so that's so funny. But because the thing about the Superpower Broadcasting, their side, is that they kind of do essentially like all these sort of nicknames.
Oh, dude.
To try to troll people and like troll like other people.
How, dude? They're calling who's calling who petty netty?
Well, the other side. And they're doing that because because they're coping and moping. That's just like out of Kevin's language.
Massive cope.
Yeah, because it wasn't enough for them to go and attack.
But like
it wasn't enough for them to lie about me. It wasn't enough for them to lie about you guys. They had to actually,
But if you were against CP, then you get literal fascist.
Actually,
this is so hard to is based.
Here's the main question. The thing is, like, Kevin seems to think that the only people who seem to think Vosh in the pedophilia claims, the only people who he claims it's only Nazis and communists. But didn't Kraut actually call him a pedo once? And Kraut is like the king of like liberal hawks or something.
Oh my god. And
it's kind of funny how
but Kraut might as well be a fascist at this point.
Anyone who calls out anyone who calls out Vosh is just a Nazi, is just a Nazi, or what all this other crumping jazz.
You lost because you're stupid.
Yeah. The only thing that was stupid was Superpower Broadcasting literally going to bat for a pedo apologist. I'm gonna.
But you said something about the YPG.
Well, I've said it before that the Syrian Kurdish forces are not complete angels. I mean, they do persecute the Christian Democratic Forces and Christians, Syrian community in Iraq. And it's so funny how Kevin Superpower Broadcasting response to that was just, "Oh, my Christians," or "Oh, well, I would give them more land." Essentially, you're saying that you would hand over the Nineveh Plains over to the Kurdish groups, and the Kurdish groups do not have a legitimate claim over the Nineveh Plains. The Nineveh Plains belongs to the Assyrian Christian people, and to say that, "Oh, I'm going to give it to suggest that you would give it to the Kurds." Is just totally ridiculous, especially when the Christian Assyrians there also fought ISIL. They also were some of the biggest victims of ISIL. And also when after the Kurds literally fled and abandoned the Christian Assyrians, and then all of a sudden once ISIL's sort of defeated, then they kind of come back and say, "Oh well, now it's time for us to take over management of this place." Give me a break. This just shows you the anti-Christian mentality of the other side, that they think.
But they act like the Kurds are like the biggest victim of them all.
But they weren't, though. I mean, the Christian Assyrians were the biggest victims of ISIL, and they were the biggest victims.
And Saddam Hussein.
Yes, I mean, I've already mentioned it before. Mona K. Ashana, her book. Look Beyond the Fire. I wish people read that book more and listen to the the message of actual Assyrian activists who are trying to highlight the issues that their community have gone through and that they have suffered. People don't talk about the Christian persecution in the Middle East. They ignore it because they don't care about it, and that's what the other side does. And I want you guys. I'm going to post this in the chat, and I hope you guys will take a look at it right there.
Dude, he literally Kevin unironically thinks Castley is like Emperor Palpatine.
Sorry, I don't understand.
Sorry, guys, that was my Google thing. For some reason, I thought it was talking to me.
Here's the point I'm gonna bring up. I always like how he tries to bring up pigeons and the whole, oh, but God is actually worse than North Korea because he dooms you to hell for all eternity. Except here's the thing. The people who go to hell are sinners. They're not people who don't disbelieve. They go to purgatory, which isn't hell. And hell is full of sinners. Hell is hell and North Korea is North Korea. And of the two, North Korea is a far worse place. Because there's no innocent people in hell. North Korea is full of them.
Yeah. Even if you sin, you can ask for forgiveness. You can repent. With North Korea, you can't. You're political. You're going right to the gulag.
Yeah, and it's just another example of the anti-Christian attitude of the people on the other side, in that the Christian beliefs, Christian faith, can just be mocked. That that Christianity, which has been a guiding force in helping our country and helping the Western world in general and defining it in good ways, that they just laugh it off and mock it. And then they also laugh at the persecution of Christians in the Middle East. And everyone, please go, buy Mona K. Oshana's book or get an audiobook. And I know that Mona K. Oshana, I've talked with her before. She's actually going to republish her stuff. So if you want to wait, cool. But, if you want to get, a cheap book of her content, go ahead. But it's so funny. It's so disgraceful.
How Kevin doesn't even care about the Syrian Christians at all. Yeah, but I would support them also. He could, instead he doesn't. He just says, oh, but my Christians, though. He just ignores them.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, my Christians, despite the fact that the Christian community in Iraq and in Syria suffered the most. They were the ones, who suffered the most under Saddam Hussein. They were the ones who suffered the most under ISIL. They were the ones who still suffer and still have to deal with discrimination. But of course, nobody wants to listen to them because, one, they're Christians and they're a smaller minority than the Arab Sunnis or the Arab Shias or the Kurdish groups. And this has got to stop. It's time for neoconservatives to start actively supporting for Christians across the globe and for it to stop Christian persecution across the globe. Enough's enough.
Even if you're an atheist neocon, it's still worth doing.
Absolutely, because if you're an atheist and if you do not support the rights of Christians across the globe, like in Iraq or in Syria, then what you are saying is that you are okay with discrimination with people based on their religion or lack of it.
I'm gonna have to go to bed now because it's 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. Thanks for coming on. We appreciate it. Give me some before you leave, though. Can you give me some final thoughts?
Final thoughts. I have no regrets over what I did with Kiss Channel. Never will regret it. Never have.
Yeah. And with Natalie, Um, I have no. I'm not going to come to her defense when she literally says people like my wife are not human beings. Thanks, man. I appreciate you coming on. All right, so it's just you and me right now, Dragon. But but this
Oh God,
it's just
such
so
a
pathetic.
like the whole thing about the whole nation building things. Yeah, Vosh probably he'd support it when if somebody like a Daniel Ortega were to be in office. Sure, like it depends. It's just like like what are you doing? Like are you just trying to be a hawk just to be a hawk? I mean, you have to have a purpose.
Yeah, totally. I mean, look, the kind of people that I'm going to share my screen a little bit. The kind of people that that Superpower Broadcasting will work with are essentially these kind of people right there, the anarchists who literally think that that these kind of people who think that from end the wars. That's essentially Vosh's fan base right there. These are absolutely abhorrent people. The
Except for
Max,
the one in northeastern Syria
yeah, the
because
Max,
they're commies.
exactly, yeah, the Max Blumenthal types, the Ben Norton types. These are the kind of people that they're okay with. You know, and instead of him coming to my defense, me being a neoconservative, he joins in on the fun. But the fact of the matter is
I thought Kevin wouldn't. I thought Kevin would give you credit for that.
no, he did. Well, he said, "Oh, it was base," but now he's going back on that.
Oh
But
yeah.
the fact of the matter is, though, is that what I did right here, over in Scottsdale with the End the Wars event. Yeah, I did. I did more for neoconservative activism than doing this and this and this than Kevin does on his stream for neoconservative.
All he does is like drama. Like he doesn't even get into foreign policy much anymore. Like now he just does like drama streams.
Yeah, exactly.
Like most part.
Exactly. It's no longer about the cause of neoconservatism. It's more about his own personality, and it's sad.
Who was that liberal hawk that you mentioned?
So the liberal hawk that I mentioned, and I have the book here, is Oliver Cam. Okay, he is a great person on the left who actually supports a neoconservative foreign policy. No, he's not. He does not support conservative domestic policy. He's just about.
He doesn't agree with neoconservatives on domestic issues, but he would support like something close. Like he would agree with them 100% on foreign policy.
Absolutely, yeah.
He does believe that. Does he believe that America should be the vanguard of liberty?
Well, he's talked about that because he's had debates on nuclear weapons, on Iraq, and he's even shared a platform with Douglas Murray.
I know, but does he believe that America should be leading the charge?
I believe that he believes that the West and America should, be leading the charge. And may I just remind those anti-theists out there that the West is defined by Christianity.
Oliver Camp, isn't he still like different from these liberal internationalist types?
Well, I would say he's a strong ally, just like Bernard Henri Levy is. Bernard Henri Levy is not a neoconservative, but he is one of those liberal.
Isn't he a war hawk?
Yes, he is a war hawk for the good, not for the bad.
But I don't know why he opposed the Iraq war though, because it was unpopular at the time. I guess I don't know.
It was unpopular in France, yeah. But the thing about it is that we can have a disagreement there, and we can reach out to people like that and talk with them and convert those kind of people, to our cause.
Isn't like Bernie Levy like also a hawk on Iran?
Oh yeah, he is a hawk on Iran. He understands that Iran is the source for all the terrorism in the region, And people like Bernard Henri Levy, like this, because this is I think important part of the debate that I had just had with with Superpower Broadcast, is that we can work with people like Oliver Camp. We can work with people like Bernard Henri Levy. We can work with people like Christopher Hitchens. We cannot work with people like Vosh or like Kyle Kalinske, or with Ben Norton, or with Bloom, all these characters from End the Wars, or Lolbertarians, anarchists, Green Party, progressive.
I think
Democratic
Christopher Hitchens is like a bit different. I mean, he's kind of like more situational.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't even really he wasn't even a democratic socialist during the time he died. His views changed over time. And the thing about our opponents, from Superpower Broadcasting, when
but Superpower Broadcasting loves Christopher Hitchens.
Yeah. Well, they love him because of the anti-theist aspect, but
Christopher Hitchens is not even known for his foreign policy positions. Like, he mainly taught about anti-theism for the most part and other stuff.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though, is that
most anti-theists are not hawks.
Yeah, most anti-theists are not. So they only hurt the cause of neoconservatism because most anti-theists are not hawks like we are. They're not humanitarian interventionists. They are essentially isolationists.
Yeah.
And so, but more importantly, though, look, if you get on a stage and you essentially go to bat for a guy like Vosh, who is an apologist for pedophilia, I can only say right there that you are immoral. That's just it. And the fact of the matter is that
no standards.
No standards whatsoever. And he constantly interrupted me in the debate.
Oh my god! I was waiting for you to talk. It's like he kept talking and talk. All he does is talk.
Yeah, he wouldn't shut up at times. And the thing is, for a lot of his stuff, I didn't interrupt him. I did not interrupt him. There was one point where I finally had enough, and I said, if he's going to interrupt me, I'm going to interrupt him, and I did. And then he got mad and said, "Shut up," and then stop. And it's like, and then I cleverly said, "It doesn't feel good when it's happening to you now, does it?"
I don't think all the other hawks that you mentioned would ever associate around him.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm yeah, they wouldn't, and I'm not.
Not even Christopher Hitchens.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm not going to throw people like Neo Konosuke under the bus. I'm not going to throw people like Grayson Absoff under the bus, and I'm not going to throw people like Hanzik under the bus. People who have already made apologies, or people who have moved, or and I'm not going to
people who like to make joke. We like to joke around a lot.
Yeah, exactly. And not just, but the thing is this, is that none of the people on my side who Kevin falsely accused of being fascist and falsely accused of being racist,
Viktor Orban, Suharto fans,
and falsely accused of being like sexist and homophobic. I'm sorry, but you went to bat for a guy who literally is a pedo apologist and possibly even a closet pedophile. Okay, I didn't. All right. And not only that, there are people on our side, not his side, who are actually trans. Okay, there are people on our side who are gay, and there are people on our side who are bisexual, and there are people on our side who are Muslim. There are people on our side who are much better than their side. Okay, their side is literally
like
just
anti-theism or GTFO.
Yes, their group is literally just anti-theism or get out. That's all they are. They're a very small selective group that don't have any of the diversity that we do.
If you watch Kevin's streams constantly, you see the same people on there every time.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be expanding my stuff. I'm gonna interview hopefully next week.
You only like 58 subscribers, man.
Yeah, like he started out low too. So yeah, so did I, but I'm gonna grow. And unlike him,
Yeah, but you
too,
haven't. Yeah, but you haven't really. The only difference is when he started, he did more content than what you did because like you haven't. You would do once. You haven't done much of it.
well, I do once a week, but I don't do what Mr. Cassie does, which is just sit back in my chair and talk about interventionism. You saw me at the End the Wars event where I literally stood up to anarchists, communists, Green Party, all Vosh fans. All those people are essentially Vosh fans. I stood up to those people and said, "You're wrong," and I'm going to stand up for the people of Afghanistan. You know, and of course, when will you see anyone from their side doing that? You'll see them with Antifa, and Stalinist thugs, beating up and destroying cities, but you won't see them doing, standing up for the cause of humanitarian interventionism or neoconservatism. So,
Like
because
Henry, for basically, he doesn't. He's. I mean, his thing is not really. I mean, he just does what he wants, basically. But like, even him, like, even he had to step in.
well, it's because but the other side just continually interrupted, completely tried to just dominate the performance and
And
not
did you
argue
see
in
that
good
one
faith.
debate with Hawes?
Well, it's typical fashion for superpower broadcasting. It's just to dominate
To be
the
honest,
discussion,
Hawes.
not the debate.
To be honest with you, I mean, Hawes won that debate.
Well, I'm not going to praise Hawes because Hawes is not politically aligned with me.
No, but that is a fact that he won the debate.
Well,
Because
I think
Kevin,
I definitely won the debate here. I won the debate because I
also
showed.
you happen to politically provoke. Kevin kept interrupting so much that they literally, all the mods had to literally kick him out.
Well, that just shows you I won because when you act like a petulant child, who literally flipped me off after the stream was over and said "f me," and like saying
Typical.
to me, F me.
He even came across as like a literal SJW.
Well, that's what that, but that's who he wants to work with. He wants to work with anarchists, communists, libertarians, and democratic socialists who are not democratic. It's just it's where they win one election, it'll be a communist state.
You get to pick your tyrant.
Yeah. You pick your tyrant, and then by the way, we're canceling elections, which is what essentially
either that or you just keep getting different people with the same. You keep getting the same result every time.
Yeah, superpower.
Just pick your despot. One of the two. It's like a false. Just a false. Just giving you. That's the kind of democracy these people would support. The one where the one you don't really have a choice.
But that's the thing, though. They don't support Republican democracy. What they want is essentially a communist state, and that's why they support the YPG over in Syria and Iraq. We help them, not support, help, because we knew what they were fighting ISIL, and
So you just basically supported the YPG for strategic reasons.
Strategic reasons, also to save. Strategic reasons and to save lives, okay, but that does not mean that after the defeat of ISIL that we supported them. Because I support the Christian Assyrian forces in Iraq, and of course,
I kind of agree. To be honest, I would agree with Henry Kissinger on northeastern Syria.
I don't know what his thoughts would have been, but I know
he would be a realist. He would be more of like.
Well,
I know all about interest.
Well, I know who I would support, and it's the Christian Assyrian movement. I will not do what what they have done. Which is to say that I'm a Christians. I support the Assyrians and what they do, and their noble fight for freedom, to have a nation.
You hear more about the Kurds than you hear about the Assyrians.
Yeah, you don't hear about the Assyrians because they're Christian, which is part of the anti-Christian mentality of the other side. I mean, you never hear about the wonderful work that
or in the Muslim world in general. But
yeah, I mean, you never hear about the Assyrian Aid Society. You never hear about the other groups like the Syrian Confederation of Europe. The large diaspora. You never hear about the so the concept of saving the Assyrian people or the Assyrian voice. You never hear about the brave Assyrian soldiers who are off fighting for their land and fighting against ISIL. Okay, they never forget about
Al
those.
Qaeda.
Yeah, exactly. These people who literally were fighting for their lives against oppression. Like the NPU, and this is what I wanted to show. So the Nineveh Plains Protection Unit, that literally fought against ISIL and fought for their lives, and fought to protect their land and to liberate it from ISIS. He doesn't talk about these groups right here. These brave NPU people who fought as Christians to defend Assyrian land. And I love this right here. Assyrians must depend on ourselves to ensure our security in our homeland. Recent history has proven that others' interests are not sufficiently aligned with the Assyrian community to warrant their meaningful and sustained intervention on our behalf. And that's why we have to change the policy that we see in America today. We have to support the establishment of an Assyrian state or an autonomous Assyrian zone, one that will be for the Assyrian Christian people, where there will be a strong pro-U.S. ally who will be helping us in the fight against terrorism. And so the Nineveh Plains Protection Unit is a group that we should be supporting. But of course, though, the other side won't ever talk about them. It's all just about the YPG, sorry, and then also then the PKK.
Yeah.
It's
like I'm kind of like Henry Kissinger when it comes to the Kurds, though. In Syria,
when it comes
about interest.
When it comes to Syria and Iraq, we need to be supporting the Assyrian people, and this is something that Kevin just didn't want to talk about. He just blew it off.
Yeah, but I bet you he didn't. He wouldn't even support the Assyrians for like strategic interest. Also,
no, he wouldn't. He, like he said before, he would be out to bat for the YPG, and of course, because again, and that's what Vosh would do. Vosh would be supporting Hamas. He'd be trying to get America to intervene on behalf of Hamas to destroy and nuke Israel, which is what got Vosh banned temporarily from Twitch. Of course, he should have stayed banned, but whatever. Twitch let him back on for money. That was all. That was it.
Yeah, but if you're a right winger, you get banned.
Oh yeah, totally. Like if you're a right winger and you said something like that, you get banned. But of course, if Vosh says it, he gets banned, but then gets eventually let back on because he's a communist and he's a leftist, and because he's also a closet,
Some people never even. There's people that are apolitical that are banned for life on Twitch.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. People like Vosh should have been banned, but of course, this is so funny, and I think this is the biggest thing is that Superpower Broadcasting said that we should work with people like Vosh and get them hawk pilled. This is a guy who literally said the state of Israel should
more
be
like
nuked off the face
for
of
the
the
enemy.
Yeah, they're what he said right there, Vosh, about nuking Israel. That's essentially what Hamas wants. And so, if you want to hawk pill Vosh, yeah, you're going to hawk pill him for the enemies of the free world. You're going to hawk pill him for Venezuela. You're going to hawk pill him for Hamas, for the DPRK, for the Kremlin, for the Ayatollahs. So ridiculous.
Yeah. And he called you like Mr. Anonymous.
Yeah, well, he was also, trying to essentially allude that he would dox me, by saying all that, by saying my name, and then trying to, guess my age. and and then like also trying to suggest that your stuff's out there, you know. So I'm sorry, but I would never repost his address. I would never post his phone number. I would never
Like
post his
he literally
email.
had like a Twitter account like this, like from 1994, December,
Yeah.
like 1993.
Yeah, and I have his email. But would I ever send that out to my followers or people saying, "Hey, go spam this guy"? No, I would not do that. I'm not that kind
Or
of
just
person.
name drop it. We're not the type of guy to like name drop people.
Yeah, I'm not the kind like now. Superpower Broadcasting, Kevin Castley, he said his name out multiple times, and he gives people permission to use it.
Hey, I'm Kevin. Hey,
But
this
me,
is
I
Kevin
don't. But
Castley
me,
for Superpower Broadcasting.
yeah, exactly. That's a part of his intro. Me, I don't. I don't use my name on my stuff. It was accidentally dropped by me and my brother when we had our debate, Lord Commissars, versus Net 7, because we're family, and typically when
Yeah.
you're talking to family, the names slip out. But I don't
Dude.
give
Yeah,
people
but Kevin
permission to
used
use
that
my
as an
name.
opportunity.
Yeah,
Because
he
he's a
used it as
malicious
an
cunt.
opportunity to exactly, use it as an opportunity to throw my name out there and try to give me the impression that he's going to dox my identity, who I am, my address, my email, phone number, and and then send people to sick them on me. At least he didn't. He at least gave that threat and the impression by saying that your stuff is out there, and then by using my name and then trying to say my age.
Like last time between him and Hawes, like it was just basically nothing of substance. It was basically catfighting.
Yeah.
Like I'm not like Bosch is like he's a Marxist. I don't agree with it.
Well, of course he's a Marxist.
Say whatever you want about him, and Kevin like he said like Al Qaeda in China.
Yeah. So just absolutely pathetic that the guy
he makes
that
bad arguments. He literally makes stupid arguments, like basically his optics, basically like saying basically saying that even if we support Al Qaeda in Syria, they're the lesser evil or something like that.
Yeah, so ridiculous. And Vosh isn't even fun to listen to. I've listened to him before. He's boring. I like Destiny was so much better, and Vosh stole essentially, his career off of Destiny's back, and then just completely knifed Destiny in the back. So to suggest that somehow
they used to debate each other all the time.
Yeah, well, they had a huge falling out though, but it just shows you how pathetically pathetic that guy is, that the pedo apologist, or pedo Vosh, essentially stole his career off the back of Destiny. And then his toxic fan base, because a bunch of these people are radicals, Marxists, radical leftists, radical Stalinists, Antifa types. He then used them to essentially bully and Destiny, and even get him temporarily banned from Twitch, something that essentially Vosh got banned for, but now Vosh is back because money. All right, we're hitting on the hour mark, man. I don't want to stay up too late, doing this talk, but Dragon, thanks for coming on. I really do appreciate it, and I just want to say to the viewers, thank you so much for backing it up.
Yeah.
I just want to say, just remember, guys, that these people, they name dropped my name. They came after my spouse, my family, and they literally have no shame lying about members of our community, who include people who are bi, people who are gay, people who are trans, people who are Christian, people who are atheists, people who are agnostic, and people of all different types and stripes and colors and creeds. And he went to bat for a pedo apologist named Vosh V, and I'll say that publicly. And I want you all, please, don't just take my word for it if you don't believe me, okay? If you don't think I'm telling the truth, you know what? Go look it up yourself. I've got the link right here to the playlist. I want you all to please go and watch this content on your free time when you have. And because Peter Vosh needs to be called out and exposed for the disgusting, deplorable human being he is. And anyone that would go to bat for a disgusting, deplorable human being like that is immoral. And that is what super broadcasting has become. They have fallen so far. I'm disappointed. We used to be, really great friends, great allies, but over the Natalie situation, in which people like Natalie said that people like my spouse were not human beings, I was not going to rush that person's defense. And anyone thinks that I should have done that would be essentially saying that, well, that my wife is worthless, and I'm not going to say that. And I just wish that, I just hope that people start looking at the facts and seeing that, that this person is a deplorable human being, and anyone who would go to bat for a person like that is immoral. It's that there's no if, ands, or buts saying about it. There is no point in reaching out to the Vosh base, who are isolationists or worse, fifth columns and advocates for the other side. Advocates for Hamas, advocates for the DPRK, advocates for the Ayatollah, advocates for the Kremlin, and people who literally are essentially internal threats because they support the enemy. So I do want to appreciate you, you coming on, Dragon, to talk about this, and all the great talks, discussion we had. You have a good night, okay?
All right, man. See you later, bud.
See you, Dragon. All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in so much. Thanks for coming into the debate and backing me up and supporting me. I do appreciate that. Please don't forget to support my channel on Ko-Fi. I do this work on my own time. I don't do this work for fame. I don't do this work to get famous or or sell my soul to people like Peter Vosh for hits and views. I do this simply because I believe in this cause. So if you want, please go visit me on Ko-Fi. Please also subscribe on Twitch, subscribe on YouTube, go to my other accounts and subscribe. Thank you, everyone. V for victory and death to all tyrants.